Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Sunday. I hope that you guys are all having not just a good start, but pretty much a good overall weekend. Today is Sunday, February 18th. Wanted to keep today's live stream pretty short and sweet. Again, if you guys want to ever tune on into one of these Sunday stock talks, I host them every single Sunday. All you have to do is drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So let's go ahead and talk about pretty much what we have in store for this week. And again, if you want me to break down any stock, all I literally ask you to do is to share it in the live chat. You do have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel, which is free. But again, any question, any stock you want me to break down within this live stream, share it in the live chat, and I would be more than happy to break it down for you. For the meantime, wanted to show you the series of different stocks that are set to report earnings this week. Starting off with Tuesday, we have Walmart, Home Depot, kind of the main two that we see being reported before the market opens. One of the ones that I'm going to be paying attention to on Wednesday, I'm sure it's going to be it's the biggest one, the most valuable company out of any other company. I think that's up here, and it's Nvidia. Nvidia is going to be reporting after the market closes, but Rivian and Lucid are also going to be reporting after the market closes on Wednesday. Those are Tesla's competitors. And then before the market opens on Thursday, we have Nikola, which is another so-called Tesla competitor that's going to be reporting earnings. We have Etsy reporting earnings Wednesday after the market closes. Wix, this is before market opens on Wednesday. SQ reporting earnings after the market closes on Thursday. And then we have Warner Brothers. Also, I don't know if you guys have, if this logo looks familiar to you. It really caught my eye because anytime that I'm driving anywhere, at least here in the West Coast, right, in Arizona and California, Lamar has a bunch of advertisements. Those are the things that you see kind of like when you're driving on the freeway. At least in my area, I recognize that logo, so I know that that's going to be something I'm going to be paying attention to because I've always wondered how much money a company like that makes, and it's going to be really cool to see that not only do they get to report earnings, but I get to see if they're doing better than what is expected. With that being said, we also have FOMC meeting, FOMC minutes this week, and that's going to be Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to quickly remind you that FOMC minutes is just a kind of like recap on the last FOMC meeting and what each member of the Federal Reserve voted for and why. So it's not going to be anything as dramatic as like an FOMC rate pause or rate hike or rate cut. It's pretty much just coming to a conclusion, kind of like a report on the previous FOMC meeting that was actually hosted. And this is called FOMC minutes, which is simply just kind of like, again, a quick little report on how they came up with that decision. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Like I said, I want to keep today's live stream very short and sweet. I'm going to be breaking down 5 stocks, and it's going to be up to you guys on what stocks I break down. So make sure that you subscribe and share your top stock in that live chat. So I have, is it Het Patel asking for me to break down VGT. So let me go ahead and break that one down. So right off the bat, I can see that this thing has pretty low volume just by the way that the candles were moving. And I could see when getting a little bit closer, definitely super low volume. This would not be something that I would trade myself because of how low that volume is. I can see why you're paying attention to it. It's been recently bullish, higher highs, higher lows, a nice little pullback. Maybe if it were to pull back to the moving average, that would be a little bit more attractive. But overall, I think it's cool that you're at least paying attention to stocks that are consistently indicating signs of an uptrend. But for me, because of that low volume, it's a no. Like that would have to be something that needs to be met. And when I see volume that low, I can see a stock being more easily manipulated when I'm trying to get in or trying to get out, especially with the dollar amount that I trade with. I just want to make sure that I don't end up moving the stock on myself just because of how much it is I'm buying or how much it is that I'm choosing to sell. Overall, I think it's a fine, obviously, ETF when it comes down to it being Vanguard, and obviously it's been very consistently bullish. But just right off the bat, I'm just not a huge fan of how low that trading volume is. But as well as I think it's a little bit more on the overbought side. I would like to see a little bit more of a correction to at least focus on getting it for a good deal. So let me go ahead and, all right, Roland is asking for me to break down BA. Here we go. We got BA here. Boeing has not been performing the best ever since of that Max 9. What was it? Yeah, Max 9 or Max 7 incident where one of the airlines had an accident, and unfortunately some people did pass away. But you can see that from its previous highs to its current lows of $200. Boeing has been doing a pretty good job holding its ground at $200 per share. So I completely agree with you that it's a stock that I'm watching. I have it in my personal watch list as well. But this is not indicating signs of an uptrend. And I think that's the one thing that I want to share with you is that, at least for me, when a stock is oversold and I see huge recovery potential, it makes sense on why I would want to watch it and maybe add it to my watch list, add my alerts. As you can see, I have my alert for the break below, I have my alert for the break above. But just because something is cheap does not make it a good buy. We've seen this many times before. The cheap can always get cheaper. Looking at lows of 176, right now we're at 200. Imagine losing 25% of your potential value. That's not 25%, it's about 12.5%. But nonetheless, still some downside potential. So it's just something to take into consideration where you don't want to jump the gun, right? At least I don't. And I think it would make much more sense to wait for proper confirmation of a reversal and wait for indication of an uptrend. If you're going to ask the question, what does indication of an uptrend look like? Very simple. When this thing was selling off, what changed when it began to indicate signs of an uptrend? It began to trade above the EMA, it began to trade above the moving average, hold above the EMA, form higher highs and higher lows. Very simple when you break it down. But again, as of right now, a lot of consolidation, which is good. It's showing signs of a potential support, but it's not confirming that overall reversal. So Lifestyle is asking for me to break down Save. Let's go ahead and break that one down. Again, if you want me to break down your top stock, subscribe to the channel and make sure that you smash that like button. I would say a very similar setup here. So if you guys didn't hear the news when it comes down to Spirit, Spirit had a potential merger that was happening that was blocked by the US. They're trying to work on saving that merger, and that would be a catalyst that would really bring Save potentially back to previous highs. But as of right now, it's not looking too good because Spirit is kind of like in a road to bankruptcy. And it's trying to get bailed out. But you can see that, yes, if it does get saved, then great, this thing could potentially recover. But if it doesn't, then can it file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, right? It is cheap. But again, if it files for bankruptcy, it doesn't matter how cheap it is, then at that point, it's going to get delisted. As of right now, showing signs of consolidation. There's no confirmation of that reversal. I can see why this is a stock worth watching. It's a high risk, high reward type of play if you try to buy before confirmation, knowing that it doesn't have to be saved. It's pretty punny, right? I won't do that again. Saving that merger. Yeah, I know. For those that get it because the ticker symbol is SAVE. Of course, yeah, but definitely, it's a stock that I've added to my watch list as well. Obviously, it's very attractive at this price point if it does begin to recover. But this is why we just have to follow up with this on a more consistent basis, just making sure that we trade when it makes sense, not just because we want it to recover. Us wanting it means absolutely nothing. It doesn't change the fact that it might not get saved. So again, just something to take into consideration to keep it simple. Ricky, can you break down Visa? What's going on, Joe? Let's go ahead and break it down. So Visa is ticker symbol V. I love that you are paying. I wish more beginners focused on consistent uptrend patterns. Like, yes, you're probably not going to make the most amount of money as this thing, especially at this price range that it's at right now. But direction is favorable. Your price point or your entry didn't have to be the best for you to be able to come out on top. My only question to you is it overbought enough that it's going to be due for a potential correction? That would be my only concern at this level. Or do we want to wait for it to pull on back to the moving average and see at that point, kind of like it did over here, right? It pulled on back, held above moving average, and then recovered. At least those that bought down here were able to pick it up for a decent price and then make money on that recovery. As of right now, again, kind of just made new highs, pulling on back, testing EMA. I would, at least for me, I like to wait for a little bit more of a decent spread, bigger margins. And it doesn't have to be insane margins because obviously this is so consistently bullish, but at least where it makes sense, right? To be able to buy at a good price point where if it recovers, it could, make you a decent return. All right. So all tech very overbought and a correction has started. All chips stocks is bull crap about AI because films has AI since 1960s. I first off, I don't really understand. I don't know if you meant to spell things that way, but do I think that overall markets are overbought? Yeah, I mean, we can look at the overall NASDAQ market. Markets, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people would agree that markets are overbought, they're overextended. For you to say that AI is overvalued, I mean, is there a lot of hype around it? Yeah, it's kind of like the new shiny toy. But when you really think about where we are with AI to what it can become, right? If we're just scratching the surface with AI and these companies are just getting started, kind of like Nvidia that's set to report earnings after the market closes. Like, is there a lot of hype? Is that being factored into the current price point? Yeah, probably, right? But I think it's because it's like the new shiny toy, and there's like a lot of growth potential in it, in an expanding market like that, in a very quick and growing market. And at the end of it, like I've said it many times to my LPP traders, the people that get to watch me trade live every day. I agree markets are overbought, but to think that the markets have to crash or correct themselves right now is very naive. Markets are incredibly bullish. They're forming higher highs and higher lows, and there's a big difference from thinking markets are overbought to thinking, no, they have to correct themselves right now. They don't. Markets can continue to run higher for a longer period of time, and if economic data supports it and the Federal Reserve begins to cut interest rates, then that can maybe even send markets to even new highs, right? So as of right now, I'm taking it day by day. There's no reason to need to short the market just because you think it's overbought or that you think that markets are going to crash. If you don't see value in AI, that's you're 100% entitled to your opinion, right? And I respect that, right? It doesn't change anything for me. All I know is, I mean, all personal beliefs aside, I'm just here to make money. I'm here to look for good deals and to make sure that the risk to reward ratios meet my criteria. Not making it personal or anything like that. It's just that's what we're all here to do, right? So let's not make it more than that. So, all right. Let me go ahead and break down another one. So we got Reynolds asking for me to break down Hood. So again, if you want me to break down your stock, share it in that live chat. So I'm not the biggest fan of Hood. Hood did recently report earnings, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like it became very overbought. Wow. I did not follow up with Robinhood, but it looks like it's performing exceptionally well. It's gapped up, recently pulled on back. I mean, this is a perfect example of when something becomes overbought and then corrects itself. It's not that you need to predict it. It's that you can just wait for that confirmation because it tends to happen. It looks like we might be setting up for another one of those for those that like to potentially short. Again, it's still the 3 stages of a reversal, just like we talk about in LPP, right? This is the still confirmation or still ascending. Then you get consolidation and then confirmation of this rejection, which at that point it would make sense to potentially short. It went from highs of $12 all the way to lows of $10, and then now it's trading at 14. So let this thing continue to run up. Obviously, it's overbought, and it's only a matter of time, right? We just have to set our alerts, and once it begins to form that reversal and we get that confirmation, then that maybe can then meet my criteria to potentially open up a short position. But I'm really glad that you brought this one up because it was not in my radar for a stock to potentially short. But from where we're at right now to previous lows that it was just at a few days ago, that's about a 24% return. So, but again, this thing can go higher for longer. Let's let the hype kind of run its course, become overbought, consolidate, hit its resistance, and then get rejected. So, all right. Let me go ahead and break down Gutierrez. So again, if you want me to break down your stock, share it in that live chat. So Hey Ricky, would you like to send me your last live with the LPP team? Nope, not necessarily. The live sessions are for our LPP team, so you can either choose to join or you don't have to, right? Very, very simple. So it's the second link in the description down below if you want to join our team, and if you don't, that's fine, right? You can just continue to try to figure it out on your own. No hard feelings with that. SMCI. I'm glad that you brought that one up. So SMCI was a super hyped up stock for last week. So I talked about it in one of my most recent videos. It saw a 25% drop on Friday. From its highs of $1,080 per share, it went all the way to lows of $800 a share. 25% drop. And this is, in my opinion, just the beginning. We're still testing EMA. So, you know, if you do get that confirmation for that break below that EMA, that would be, I would say, the biggest thing that I would look out for, where it could find a support here and try to recover, especially depending on how markets open on Tuesday. But as of right now, we're still holding above that EMA, and I would like to wait for more confirmation of an active sell-off. I mean, I would say Friday is just a great example where this is true rejection. Lower highs, lower lows. Anytime that it would try to recover, it would sell off and just continue to bleed. This is a perfect example of when direction is in your favor, shorting a stock. This is obviously a perfect example of, you know, what you don't want it to be when you're choosing to short. Just because it's overbought doesn't mean that it needs to pull on back. So let's make sure that we remind ourselves of that. But yeah. So hey, if you day trade, you'll love it. I'm a member. Nice. Yeah. Again, LPP is available. It's 50% off right now. So if you've been looking for our biggest discount, it's the second link in the description down below. If you sign up by today, you can watch me trade live the next time the market opens. But I do believe that the stock market is closed in observance to President's Day tomorrow. So just a little heads up on that. We have a 4-day trading week, and that's because, Washington's birthday holiday. So if I'm not mistaken, markets will be closed tomorrow, but then markets will be open on Tuesday, which means that that's when you can watch me trade live. All right. Let me go ahead and break down 2 more stocks, and then we'll call it a live stream. So I appreciate your guys' time. So SMCI on Friday was down $200, and by chart has more downside to 636. Yep, in 20 days. We just have to wait for that confirmation, Michael, but definitely something that I'm paying attention to. All right. NET. Let's go and break that down. Okay, so very overbought. Hit highs of 117. Began to pull on back. Steady lower high, lower low. Now it's at a very significant price point. It's right around $100 a share. So just be careful here if it begins to consolidate or hold. Now, if we begin to break below that EMA, we're going to trigger a sell signal here. And then we have the possibility for this thing to retrace back to $85 a share. The thing with this is that it has been trying to indicate signs of an uptrend, but it does have a history of selling off. So for this thing to potentially correct itself is not going to be much of a surprise. But the big thing, again, is I would hate to open up a short position here, and then just like last time that it was here, it recovers. I want to wait for it to break the support and then short it as it's actively selling off. That's what I would, if I was waiting for something, waiting for confirmation, that's what I would like to wait for. I wait for that break of support and then add more of waiting for proper confirmation. So. Alrighty. So what's your Instagram, if you don't mind? Heb Patel, my Instagram is linked in the description of this video. So I believe it's the 3rd link in the description down below. And just a heads up, it is my only Instagram account. I am verified. I have no other Instagram account, and I don't trade for other people. There's a bunch of fake accounts out there that will pretend to be me. They're all just these different names, but they use my cover picture. And they'll pretend to be like, hey, like I'll trade for you, send money here. I never ask for money. The only service that I offer is to watch me trade live. And it's the second link in the description down below. And you don't even have to join it, right? That's if you want to, great. And if you don't want to, then I respect that, right? No hard feelings. But please be aware of that if you follow me on Instagram, you'll most likely at one point get messaged by a fake account. But I can promise you it's not me or it's not anyone that's part of my team. My team will never reach out to you. Yeah, I'm verified. I have like 260,000 followers on Instagram, something like that. Or 270,000, I forgot what it was. But yeah, feel free to check it out. So let's go and do one more, and then we'll call it a live. I want to do one that we don't normally do. A stock that we don't normally break down. RGTI, let's see. It's a low cap stock. I don't trade these. Yeah, strong descending pattern. Looks like it's being hyped up right now, right? A lot more trading volume. But anytime that this happens, when it rallies, that's great. But then it comes crashing back down. So just understand the cycle of how these things tend to move. And super low trading volume. So this would be these just look like pump and dumps to me. I just choose to not trade them myself. Let me do another one. Rivian. Let's actually break down Rivian, yeah, because it's about to report earnings. So I think that's a good one. Rivian stock is about to report earnings this upcoming week. It's going to be Wednesday after the market closes, right alongside Lucid. So something to be aware of. Rivian is at a potential support though. So that's actually quite interesting. So looking at previous lows, we do have lows of around $11 to $12 a share. It runs up to highs of 27. But again, this thing doesn't have the best track record. Consistent lower highs, lower lows. It's one of Tesla's potential competitors. The thing that I do like about this is that it's showing signs of a potential support. Maybe if we break above this EMA, we can try to run back up to previous highs or at least a little bit higher than where we are right now. This tends to be a common support range. So again, it wouldn't be much of a surprise if it does try to indicate signs of an uptrend. But knowing that it's about to report earnings, depending on what it reports and what the market expects, can cause it to break its support or absolutely skyrocket. So I believe that next Sunday, this could potentially be a stock that we'll end up following up with. So I don't like to trade or hold stocks when they report earnings. That's just not my thing. And I would encourage beginners to look into maybe why not to hold positions right before they report earnings due to the risk behind that. So other than that, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I feel like we broke down a handful of different stocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, a handful of different stocks. Again, we talked about the handful of different stocks that are going to be reporting earnings this week. We talked about the FOMC meeting on Wednesday, and I'll keep you guys up to date. And also be aware President's Day is tomorrow, so stock markets should be closed. The last thing that I do want to remind you is that our Corvette C8 giveaway is going on right now, and we're running prize week, which means that any order placed today gets one of these prizes or gets cash in their order. So if you want to enter the Corvette C8 giveaway, but also you want to win one of these prizes or cash, again, you can head on over to shoptechbuds.com, click the fourth link in the description down below, which will take you to Shop Tech Buds, and every $1 that you spend on the site will earn you 5 automatic entries. This is our 4th car giveaway, which means we've given away 3 other vehicles. And again, I'd love to be able to either hand you the keys or hand you the cash of the $50,000. But yeah, if you have any questions, shoot me a DM. Other than that, I appreciate you guys' time. Again, I wanted to keep today's live stream pretty short and sweet. I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. Enjoy your President's Day. Sorry that the stock market is closed, but that just means that, again, I'll see you on Tuesday at Market Open for our live trading session. Appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.